Hi guys, and welcome back to Auto Trawler. So this video I'm going to do the top 10 hatchbacks under £3,000. So let's get straight into it. These cars, none of them are category cars, so they've not been written off. They're all under 125,000 miles, and yeah, they're all for sale on Auto Trader right now. So let's have a look at our first car. I've ordered them from slowest to fastest. So the slowest car on our top 10 is this, an Alfa Romeo Giulietta 1.4 TB Multi-Air Veloce. So why have I put this in? Well, first of all, it's a great looking car, isn't it? I mean, look at it, especially with these turbine wheels. Really goes nicely with the rest of the design, I think. Um, I like the silver wing mirrors. I like this red um, paint. I also like on this particular car the part leather interior with red stitching. Let's have a look like this. So yeah, they look the business. Of course, it's an Alfa, so it's not going to be perfectly reliable. Probably the multi-air engines can have issues. Um, Having said that, some people say that they are quite reliable and that um, more reliable than you would think. So I guess it's a bit of luck and also how well the car's been looked after. In terms of performance, 170 horsepower, 0 to 62 in 7.8 seconds, top speed of 135. So it's more of a warm hatch than a hot hatch. They did do a hotter version, the Cloverleaf, but that's not available in this budget. But the benefit of having, not loads of performance is because it's a smaller engine. The insurance group is quite low, 23, so it's not too bad on insurance. The tax is quite low, £190 per year currently, and the fuel economy is quite high, so you can do easily 40 to the gallon probably in one of these, maybe more. So that's our number 10. In at number 9 is this, the DS3 with a 1.6 THP engine with 165 brake horsepower. This is also the newest car on the list. This is a 2016. Most of the ones you'll see are a bit older than that, but this one is, as you can see, quite a lot below market average for whatever reasons. For sale, quite a low price. This one's got a white and black interior, but there's loads of different color combination options on these. In terms of performance, you're looking at 7.5 seconds to 60. So a little bit quicker, same top speed, 135, pretty much. Yeah, 239, similar torque. But because it's a little bit smaller car, it's a little bit quicker to 60. Obviously, they are small cars, so that's the downside. You wouldn't want to transport the whole family in this, but if it's just you and one other person, and maybe the occasional person in the back, could be a good option. Next up, a 2013 120D. So this is in here mainly because I know it's not exactly a hot hatch, because there are much hotter versions of the 1 Series, but it does give you very good performance because it's got about 180 horsepower and it's got loads of torque being a diesel, and it gives you the economy, fuel economy and cheap tax. I think it's £35 to tax currently, and they're rear wheel drive. So unlike any of the other cars on this list, this is rear wheel drive, so it will handle a little bit differently to the other cars on this list when you're going around bends and whatnot. So let's have a little look. So yeah, running costs, quite low insurance group 24E, £35 a year to tax, 50 to 60 to the gallon. Happy days. Now you do have to watch out. There are some fairly well-known issues with these cars. They're chain-driven engines, and yeah, the chains do need to be checked and looked after. If they do go wrong, it can be pretty bad for the engine, pretty disastrous. So look out for that. But yeah, a good all-rounder, assuming that you get a good one. Next up, we have a Peugeot 207 GTI. So this again uses that 1.6 THP engine like we saw in the DS3. I think this one has slightly more power. 175, something like that. 173. So 0 to 62 in 7.1 claim 7.1 seconds. Top speed 137. Not that you're ever going to use it legally on the road, but yeah, interesting option. Next up, in at what are we now, number 6, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Yep. Number 6 is this Audi A3. Now this is a bit of a sleeper because it doesn't look hot at all in any way. It just looks like a normal A3, but you get the 2 liter, get it with the 2 liter TFSI engine with 197 brake horsepower. That's basically the engine that they put into the Golf GTI. The Mark V Golf GTI had this engine. This particular one's an automatic. I think you can get them in manual as well. It's got a pano roof. It's got leather seats. So just quite a nice car, and it has got, the performance, but with the sleeper looks. It is a little bit more expensive on tax and fuel, and possibly on insurance, because the insurance group is very slightly higher as well, 28. But you're getting an Audi, and you're getting all the the nice leather interior and panel roof, etc. Top speed 146, so a fair bit higher, not 67 seconds. 280 newton meters of torque, 197 brake horsepower. Okay, in at number 5, we have a car that you will see a lot of for sale for well under £3,000, and that is the Mark II Mini Cooper S. And this car is cheap for a reason that the engines have quite a lot of issues with them. It's a chain-driven engine, so yeah, chain tensioners and guides, and the rubber seals. A lot of the rubber seals go hard and stop sealing properly, and then you get oil leaks and coolant leaks and vacuum hoses breaking, fuel pumps failing, water pumps there's so many things in these engines can have issues. So it's better to go for newer ones. Now this is one of the newest ones I could find in this budget, so 2012. Most of the ones you'll see under 3K are 2007, 2008, 2009, that sort of thing. So this is a later one. So you would hope that apparently later on some of the issues did address some of the issues in the engine. So if you can get a later one, a sort of 2011 onwards, or late 2010, with the slightly higher power output, it might be slightly better than the early ones, but still proceed with caution on these. In terms of performance, yeah, they're pretty quick. They have 181 horsepower, 239 newton meters of torque, 0 to 62 in 7 seconds. Top speed 142 miles an hour. They're quite stiffly sprung, so if you don't like a hard ride, don't get these. But the upside of that is that they are, they do corner quite flat, and they are very chuckable little cars, especially on smooth roads. Okay, so that's number 5. Down onto number 4, which is this, a 208 GTI. This one's got Peugeot sticker on the side. 200 PS, so that's just under 200 horsepower. Again, it's that 1.6 THP engine that we've seen a few times in this video. Performance is 0-62 in 6.8 seconds, so we're below the 7-second barrier. Plenty of torque, 275 newton meters of torque, 197 brake horsepower. So it's basically the same power as that Audi, but you've just got a smaller car to push down the road, so it's slightly quicker. You get them usually they come with these leather interiors or part leather interiors, bits of red. The one thing I would say to check is the seating position, whether you can actually see the dials, because they have this little steering wheel which is kind of mounted low and then the dials are mounted high. You can sort of see it there. It's slightly odd, but that's not just this. It's all the sort of newer Peugeots are like that. I don't know why, but that's what they're like. In terms of running costs, let's just check that. I think it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, £190 tax. Probably get high 30s to the gallon, mid to high 30s. Insurance group is 30, so might not be that cheap to insure, especially if you're a young driver. Next up is a bit of a hot hatch classic, the Renault Clio Renault Sport with a 2-litre naturally aspirated. All the other cars that we've seen have been turbocharged. This one isn't. It's naturally aspirated. Has just under, again, that 197, just under 200 horsepower. So they're pretty quick. Big engine in a small car, legendary handling. A lot of them get used on track. 0-60 in 6.9 seconds. Top speed 134. But it's not really about top speed with these cars. It's about blasting down B roads and getting around corners quickly and out of corners quickly. Obviously, they're famous for cocking a wheel, aren't they? Like the Fiestas, because they got that short wheelbase, and good fun. Right, next up we have a Volkswagen Golf. It's a Mark V. It's an edition 30 as well, which means it gets an extra bit of horsepower. So instead of 197 horsepower, it's 227 horsepower, which makes it that little bit quicker. Almost the quickest car in this list, not quite, but it's quite. It seems like a good deal. Now, of course, this car may be cheap for a reason. It may be that it's not got service history, and maybe it's got issues that need looking into. So, proceed with caution, obviously. But if you were to get a normal Golf GTI, not an Edition 30, you might be able to get a fairly decent one for £3,000 maybe. So certainly it's got the performance, at least in theory, but you'd have to check whether it actually runs well. 0-60 in 6.8 seconds, 150 miles per hour, 227 brake horsepower, like I said before. Running costs are a little bit higher on these sorts of cars. The insurance group is higher. The tax is higher than some of the other cars. And fuel economy, you're looking at high 20s, probably maybe low 30s. Right, so that brings us on to number one, which is the Renault Megane Renault Sport with 225 horsepower. This particular one is, I think it's got the F1 sort of stickers on it, like an F1 edition, but that doesn't really make that much difference to the way the car drives. I think they all have 225 horsepower, unless you get the what they call the R26 or whatever, the really special edition ones. But for this budget, you're not going to get that. But you do get a car that's very special looking, that will handle really well, and it's got the performance. Let's have a look at that performance. So it's 0 to 60 in 6.5 seconds, top speed 147, 300 newton meters of torque, 225 brake horsepower. So it's a fairly quick car, but very similar performance to the Golf that I just showed you. This one's done 120,000 miles, so it's a little bit on the high side mileage wise, but these are getting close to that sort of modern classic status, I would say. They'll be 20 years old in a couple of years, so I think if you buy it and keep it, you won't lose much on depreciation. I think they'll start to gain value pretty soon, because you just can't buy this kind of car anymore. Right. I think that's it. So if you've enjoyed the video, drop me a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified when I release a new video, and catch you on the next one.